Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. As you can see, we're in the studio today for our first ever in-person spoiler special podcast. So, we're going to be chatting about Scream 7, and there are going to be spoilers. If you have not seen Scream 7, don't watch this video. Unless you don't care about spoilers, in which case, please watch this video. I'm joined today by Layna Frankenstein, Emilylicksthebowl, and Gary from the Horror Cut Show. Guys, thank you very much for joining us. How are we all doing today? Layna, we'll come to you first.
Yeah, great. Thank you. How are you?
Good, thanks. Good, thanks. Emily?
Yeah, I'm very excited to talk about Scream 7.
As am I. Gary?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Warm. But,
Yes. Apologies, it does get warm in here, yes. Let's go around the table then and talk about everyone's history with the Scream franchise. We'll go in reverse order then, Gary. We'll come to you first. What's your history with the Scream franchise?
Yeah, I remember watching this when I was at high school, so I was very much the target audience for the first one. I loved it. I was already a fan of Wes Craven. I was a fan of the slasher genre as well. And then I kind of liked how the films kind of target what's going on in the world at the time. So if we take something like Scream 3, at that time, films that were big were like Seven or Silence of the Lambs. And you had that whole detective thing running through Scream 3. And then Scream 4, you've got like the social media thing there as well. So I like how it tries to target that.
Yeah. Emily, your history with Scream.
I watched it for the first time when I was 12, on like a bootleg like video cassette at boarding school, very late at night, and became immediately obsessed with it. So when a lot of my like 12-year-old girlfriends at the time had like posters of Titanic, I had posters of Scream. I kept scrapbooks basically, which I can't find now, disappointingly. But I had like for Scream 1 and 2, like any media that I could kind of collect in regards to it, I had like in a scrapbook. Yeah, I've kind of kept up with that since. I feel like maybe dwindled a bit around 4. I think I was busy those
Yeah.
years, but yeah, really come back into the fold recently in terms of my enjoyment of the franchise.
And Lena, your history with Scream.
So it was one of the first horror movies that I watched. I was not old enough to go and see it in the cinema. I was not born when it came out, so I could not go see it in the cinema. Sorry, guys. So Scream 4 was actually the first one that I saw in the cinema. So I loved the original trilogy, and then when 4 came out, I loved that. And I've sort of plodded along with the other ones. They're not my favourite, but I do love the franchise as a whole.
Yeah, I sadly was very much old enough to see the first one. No, I don't think I didn't see the first one in the cinema. I would have been 13-ish, maybe 14 when the first one came out. I remember watching it on VHS. I remember renting it from a local video shop. I just remember I remember there was a buzz about it. I remember I'd seen the trailer for it, but it was in 18. I was 12 or 13. There was no chance I was getting into the cinema at that point. I think I actually did manage to sneak in to see Scream 2 in the cinema, and then every subsequent one I have actually seen in the cinema. But yeah, I was a huge fan of the first one. I was aware, even at that age of like 12, 13, 14, I was aware of like what film, like a film director was a role. Like I knew who Wes Craven was. I knew he made, the original Elm Street movie. I was aware of like, Kevin Williamson. His name was, I was a big Dawson's Creek fan as well. So I was
Snap.
yeah, like I was aware of who Kevin Williamson was. So those things plus the trailer and then just the box cover for the VHS in the video shop. Google what a video shop was, kids. So yeah, and then fast forward a few years, being a big physical media fan, as you can see, I remember going to FOP, and there was a FOP in, I think, Buchanan Street. I think it was a top of Buchanan Street in Glasgow City Centre. And I remember saving up to buy the trilogy on DVD. Like, when the first 2 came out, it was pre-DVD, if I remember rightly. But then the third one came out, DVD had emerged as like, had replaced pretty much VHS.
Yeah.
So I remember saving up and spending, I think it was $49.99 back then on the, well, and I know I'm so annoyed because I still have it somewhere. It's like in a box in the loft or something like that, but I still have that trilogy box set that I bought from FOB of Scream 1, 2 and 3. And then, like you said, the subsequent ones have been of varying quality, shall we say, but everyone has their favourites. But yeah, so that's my history with the franchise. Now let's delve straight into Scream 7. And again, guys, as I said, we are going to be talking spoilers for Scream 7, so don't complain if we're spoiling things. It's a spoiler special chat. Let's talk about the opening scene. first of all, because every Scream film has its iconic or not so iconic opening scene. What did we think of the opening scene for this, the kills in that? Who wants to delve into that first?
Yeah, I
Go
can.
for it, Layna.
Yeah, so I liked the opening scene. I thought it was something different, but also taking us back to the original, being at the Macker house. I like how they made it sort of like an Airbnb. So again, staying up with the times. The kills and everything were fun. I like the phone calls. Yeah, I don't really have anything negative to say about the opening. I did really enjoy that.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it as well. My only negative thing to say about it was they gave away the kill in the trailer for that opening scene where it's like she falls down and
Yes, yeah.
that's a cool inventive kill, and they put it in the trailer. And
Yeah.
It's a thankless job cutting a trailer, I imagine, because you need to sell the movie but not spoil things. And how you do that, it's above my pay grade. But I really liked the opening scene, like you said. It's back at the Macker house. I thought those two actors, apologies, I can't remember their
No.
names, but I thought they did a good job, and I thought that the kill at the end was brilliant. I just wish they hadn't put that in the trailer.
Yeah. Also, when the guy is killed at the start, I think his name was Scott, maybe the character.
Oh, I can't remember.
But as the knife goes in, you see his eye kind of wiggle, and
Okay.
it was like a lot more gory than what
Yeah.
we've seen before. I really appreciated the opening as well. I thought it was exciting. It also says something about audience and true crime and how we're desensitized to it. And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
do feel that people would go to like Ed Gein's house if they could and stay in it, etc. So I think it was
100%.
playing on that.
Mhm.
But also, I also don't like it now. After I get to the end of the film, and I know we'll go into that more,
Yeah.
but it makes no sense
Yeah.
for those two killers to do what they did in the opening
Yeah,
scene,
I do agree with that.
like burning it down. That makes sense for another character to do that.
Yeah, it's almost as if it was written for a different story. Emily, what did you reckon? What did you make of the opening scene then?
I mean, I thought it was gorgeous from the like nostalgia perspective, and I think that the overarching like situation with this movie is that they're trying to make the fans happy, right? And that was so evident from the opening scene. It's like we're really trying, guys, and we really love you, and we want you to like this. And yeah, so I think like it is exciting and chilling to be back in Stu's house, and like I think there is definitely a comment to be made around our use of social media and around true crime and stuff like that. But yeah, no, I thought it was cute, and
Yeah.
I wish it hadn't been spoiled in the trailer too.
Yes.
Yeah, it's again, I feel like, I don't know whether it's just because getting to the grumpy old man stage of life, but I feel like I'm complaining about trailers spoiling things so much so these days, so much so to the point where I'll almost time going to the cinema
Yeah.
to not see the
Yeah, I
trailers.
do try and avoid them.
Like I remember my kids, like there's a story my kids take the piss out of me all the time for, because I remember not wanting, as much as I'm a big Scream fan, I'm also a big Marvel fan, and I remember the Spider-Man No Way Home trailers. I remember like literally just going like this and like covering my ears, and because I didn't want to see
Yeah.
the spoilers, and it turns out I saw the movie and then I watched the trailer and I was like, yeah, that would have pissed me off. But yeah, that's
Right, okay. Yeah. they do
trailers being
spoil them.
spoilers is probably a different topic of discussion to talk about.
See,
Right.
also on the cold open, can we say how cool it was to have Ghostface walk away with the house on fire?
Yeah. That was such
Like,
a good
it
shot.
was so
Which was
cool.
also in the trailer.
Yeah, it was. It was.
And I get, look, that's the opening scene. A lot of times, when reviewers are talking about movies, there's a general kind of unwritten rule where if it's in the first act, you can talk about it. So, I kind of get that, but I feel like and there's probably more, but two very much iconic shots, and that's why they're in the trailer.
Yeah.
But yeah, those two shots were cool and iconic. I wish they weren't spoiled in the trailer.
And it might be because it's one of the coolest set pieces in the full film. So that's why you're annoyed
Yeah.
as well, because it is probably the best, or maybe not the best, but it's one of the cool set pieces that is exciting and shot really well. And there was kind of a lot of jumping back and forth where like you didn't know what one was Ghostface, which one was the kind of model.
The
Yeah.
model, yeah.
So it played a lot with that, which made it exciting as well.
Yeah, the head turn, the
Yeah.
guy that I thought that was like the way they staged that, and whoever was in the costume, like that was just so well done.
Yeah.
It was like as opening scenes go for a Scream movie, it's right up there. Like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah, it's
probably
there.
like my and after the first one, it's probably my favourite opening scene. I hadn't planned on doing this, but yeah, let's talk about favourite opening scenes of the franchise. And let's not do it. We won't do a full ranking because that'll take forever. But favourite and least favourite cold open kills in Scream. Who wants to go first? Other than the first, because everyone's going to say the first. So
I
other
think
than
two.
first,
I think two.
Yeah.
I think like you know, the situation where they're like in the cinema and everybody thinks it's like a performance is
Yeah.
like it's actually was very shocking, and then like him getting stabbed through the ear through the bathroom door, and yeah, that's like it's vicious and
Yeah.
like felt very real and very like
Scary
probably
Movie has
fucking
kind of
scary.
ruined Scream 2 for me, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, as much as I love Scary Movie, it has ruined my enjoyment of some films, because I just, that scene in particular, I can't watch Scream 2 without chuckling to myself because of that scene. We won't talk about why, because that'll probably get me banned off YouTube, but I'm sure people know what we're talking about. Layna, favorite opening Scream scene that's not Scream 1?
I do love 4, but I am going to go wild card and I'm going to go for 6. I feel like the New York setting was very different for the franchise, and I just really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I like that we got the Ghostface unmasked at the start, and then it just sort of spun on its head from there. So I do really like that one.
Yeah, I really like. It's not my favorite opening scene beyond the first one, but I really rank Scream 6 high.
Yeah, I do
on the
like
overall
it.
franchise. Like you said, I think the New York setting was brilliant.
Yeah.
I love how they put that on the steelbook as well.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Ghostface in the subway. That's a really good setting.
Yeah,
Gary,
loved it.
did we do come to you already? Opening scene favorite?
No, I think I'm going to go with, I don't know if it is my favourite, but I remember it hit me hard, Scream 3 with Cotton Weary.
Yeah.
I'm the same.
I was a big Cotton Weary fan. 100% Cotton, is that?
That's the name show. Yeah, forgive me.
So I was I remember being traumatised that we lost that character, basically. Yeah, I'll go with that.
I'm going to go with that as well. Like, I'm the same. I was a big Cotton Weary fan. I love how, just as a character, but also as an actor, like, he went from essentially an extra, like a non-speaking role in the first one, to then, being a supporting character in the second one, and then being the opening kill in the third one, and then obviously the actor went,
Leif Schreiber.
Leif Schreiber. Yeah, I was going to say Ray Stevenson. Leif Schreiber, like, to go his career as well, to go from first appearing in Scream in a non-speaking role to then, to being, the star that he is now. I think that's a very cool story. Yeah. But yeah, Scream 3. I'm gonna go with you, Gary, on that. Scream 3 would be one of my favourites. Right, let's talk about the return of Sydney. Obviously, we didn't have Sydney in Scream 6, but we have her back here. We'll get into the characters who didn't return later on, but I think everyone's happy to see Sydney return.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. What's our thoughts on that? On where the character of Sydney Prescott, or Sydney Evans, is at this point in her life?
So I didn't like how they wrote Sydney in this movie, and I've said that online. So I just think that she is a lot more badass in the other movies, and I just hated that she hadn't taught her daughter even how to defend herself. There was just nothing that I just felt like it was lacking something with Sydney. I didn't feel like she was fully the character that we've had in the other movies.
Right.
I made some notes about this, and I was
Yeah.
like, okay, so Sydney Prescott would have taught her daughter to shoot a gun
Yes.
age 3.
Yeah,
Like,
literally, as a
without
bare
question.
minimum. Yeah.
Yeah. In addition to whatever else she had
Yes.
prepared, because I feel like if you think back to like Scream 3, she was already set up in terms of the way that she was protecting herself
Yes.
and thinking about going forward, because she knew that she was going to continue to be a target, right? So there's no way. Like,
No.
it just doesn't make sense.
No, I really didn't like it.
Yeah.
I loved to have her back, but the way that she came back,
Yeah.
I wasn't sold.
I think that's the overall consensus, to be
Yeah.
honest with you, Gary. What's your thoughts on Sydney's characterization?
I kind of liked the mother-daughter relationship and
Yeah.
how it was a bit fractured, but you could tell there was a lot of love there. I do agree that, yeah, she would have been carrying a gun at all times. I was happy to see her back, but I also think that they could have kind of just done a little bit more with her, I think. And I know the whole idea now is like we're going to introduce other characters to bring in. She's kind of going to lead it, but I think Neve Campbell was kind of wasted in relation to just the Ghostface in general.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
if we'll see her again. Maybe we will, but
I think we will, and we'll get to that towards the end, because it's made a lot of money.
Yeah.
So like the economics of it make me think, yeah, she's coming back because they're not going to quibble over her fee now.
No,
No,
This
no,
and
that's
this
just
and that.
fair.
But we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Yeah, I would agree. I think something I really liked about Sydney in this one was, and this is not necessarily about the character, this is more just the writing of that scene, when she talked to her daughter about why she named her Tatum.
Yes.
I thought that was a beautiful scene. I
Yeah,
thought
I
it was
love
really
that.
well written. I thought it was really well performed. But that scene but as a self-contained scene, as you guys said, I thought Sydney would have been full on Sarah Connor,
Yes.
like, and she wasn't.
No, not
It's
at
like,
all.
as you said, and she's not in Scream 4 that much, but as you said at the end of Scream 3, yeah, she leaves and she leaves the door open, and that's supposed to symbolize, her feeling, safe and free and whatnot, but that works for that film ish. But yeah, I thought by now she would be like, yeah, she does have a panic room, but I thought she'd have a panic room with like, an Uzi
Yes.
or 10.
An array of weapons.
Yes.
Many.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly, like guns, lots of guns,
Yeah, yeah.
Neo style. So I was surprised to see that she was not a complete like survivalist Sarah Connor type
Yeah.
character, which
Do you
I
think?
thought.
Sorry.
No.
Do you think one, a panic room with a back door doesn't seem sensible either. But do you think they decided not to do the whole Sarah Connor thing because they did that with Laurie Strode and Halloween? And to me, the relationship with her and her daughter in this one, kind of keeping her past a secret and things like that, was actually more like Halloween H2O.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think Halloween. I think Halloween H2O suffers for the same reasons, and the characterization of Laurie Strode in that one.
Well, Laurie has got a new identity in that, so maybe
Yeah.
we can let that slip. Whereas
Yeah,
Sydney has just changed her surname,
Yeah.
which is not.
So that's a good segue then to talk about that, because she's married to a different Mark
Yes.
in this one, which I don't know. Like, that's just confusing, surely. Like, because I remember
Who's
thinking,
also a cop.
who's also a cop, and you're like, right, that's not the same actor. Is it the same character? And they just couldn't get what's his face, Patrick.
Declan. Dermot
Dempsey.
Dempsey. Nearly. It was so close.
Dermot Patrick. There was. But yeah, so at first when you heard Mark, you think, oh, maybe they just got a different actor, but the same character. But it's not. It's Mark Evans, not Mark Kincaid.
Yeah.
How did someone not pick up on that in the kind of script writing process and think, that's confusing, let's call him John?
Literally
Or
any other
name. Even Martin or, Mikey. But,
I think they're trying to retcon. Is it in Scream 4 when she's running down the kind of pier with the kids and Dewey
yeah.
says, "How's Mark?"
Yeah.
We all assumed at that point.
it was Mark Kincaid.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
maybe they're just going, "No, you thought that. You're actually wrong," and they never got together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's what they're trying
Kind
to
of left it open for us.
Yeah.
right.
Because she's got the toddlers in the pram, and even with that, they're like, "We want our kid to be older than that now, so let's pretend she's got 3 children, and the other 2 are at the grandmother's."
Yeah. So do we think maybe is Tatum Mark Kincaid's child, and the 2 younger ones are Newmark? I don't know his last name. Joe McHale. That's the actor's name, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's just Mark Kincaid did not have a relationship. I think
Right.
they're
Yeah, I
absolutely-
think
I think
it's been written off.
everyone has like shipped them in their own minds.
Yeah, I think so.
Fair enough. Okay, kills in general. Something that I thought worked for this movie really well. They definitely upped the gore to like 11 in this movie.
I was like, am I correct in thinking that they've upped the gore, or have I just kind of forgotten? Because I think, like, you think back to like Casey Becker's murder, and like she is, that's very graphic. So
Yeah.
like, and that's sort of similar in terms of like the McKenna Grace murder in terms of like,
Yeah.
anatomy
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you're right. Like the son who gets done on the beer
Oh,
tap.
Yeah.
Like I was like, oh god, this is.
That was almost like a Terrifier kill.
Yeah.
instead-
Yeah,
instead of a
definitely.
ghost face kill.
It kind of reminded me of Thanksgiving actually in terms of like its
I've still not
gruesomeness.
seen that. Is it
Oh
good?
my god,
It's a good
so
watch.
good.
Okay, I've got 3 ringing endorsements for Thanksgiving. I'll definitely put that to the top of the watch
And
list.
Patrick Dempsey's in it.
So that's where Mark Kincaid went. He's having Thanksgiving dinner with another family.
I feel like it could be the same universe. To be fair,
He's
Like,
a
it's
cop,
close.
isn't he?
He's a cop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've made some connections here, and someone needs to write to the studio.
On that note, do we want a Scream franchise crossover with any other franchise?
Ooh.
That's a rounding no then.
I would like to see a crossover with I Know What You Did Last Summer, with just
Yeah.
Jennifer Love Hewitt and Neve Campbell, and them making reference to a photograph of Sarah Michelle Gellar. Because like if let's say it's in Sydney's house or something, and then she's like, she looks like someone I used to know, and you just kind of play into it that they both.
You know, like, oh yeah, I think I went to college with that girl.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like they didn't have any scenes together, and they're probably not in the same sorority, or maybe they are.
Yeah,
Like you
no.
know.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be fun. That would be fun. Yeah, that could be funny. Yeah. So back to kills in general. Something that I thought did work for this was the up in the gore, the kid from Generation V who in the beer tap thing. That was like disgustingly but deliciously brutal. McKenna Grace on that set piece. I think the set piece kills in this one were like franchise highs from me.
Yeah,
Like I
yeah,
really
definitely.
thought they were very inventive, and I kind of like, this is what you want as a Scream fan. This is what you want. Yeah.
Yeah. Even like Scream 5, 6, and 7, even when it comes to just stabbing, it's like not 1 or 2 stabs, it's like 40.
Yeah, it's like prison lunch line, like stabbing him with a shiv 50 times, just in, we're making sure that you are dead.
Yeah,
Yeah. Did anyone have a favorite kill from this movie?
I think it was the beer
beer
cup
one?
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not technically a kill, but John McHale's like scene in the construction area with
Yeah.
all of the plastic sheeting. I'm like, I actually really love like a murder scene where there's a lot of plastic sheeting. I don't know why. It's like
Big Dexter fan?
no, actually,
Ah.
no.
There's
But
lots of plastic in that.
I think it's like it's about visibility and about like depth of vision and stuff like that is quite interesting, like from a visual perspective in
Yeah.
terms of like, can I see something or can't I see something, or that kind of thing. So I mean, he survived technically, right? But like nearly a kill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost like miraculously. you
Yeah,
could
I
say.
don't know how he survived.
Yeah.
No,
But then again, Dewey survived like what, 50,000
Yeah.
stab
True.
wounds
Mhm.
until he sadly didn't.
See on that note as well, where like Ghostface is behind the sheeting and he just kind of steps into the light and then back out. It works really well,
Oh,
and it
yeah.
reminded me of the original Halloween.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
With Michael just coming out of the cupboard darkness. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was like one of the most unsubtle homages of all time.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't mean that as a diss. I thought that's it's clearly like why not pay homage to Halloween? But yeah, that definitely did
And they did it
remind me of that.
in the opening scene as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
Can we talk about the most unsubtle homage out of all of them? Is
Ooh.
like when the new boyfriend sneaks in the bedroom window at the beginning,
Yeah.
and then they use the same song when they're making out, and I was like,
yeah.
Just
And he
pick a
does the
different
same
song.
actions.
pick
Yeah.
it, and
You're
it's like,
how
how
does
could
he
you
know
have
those
known
actions?
that?
Did you see Scary Movie as well? Like that's like how would you like that? Yeah, that I would say that's bordering on. That's not just an homage. That's not just fan service. That's just like battering the audience over the head with the nostalgia of baseball bat.
Yeah, I really just wish they had chosen a different song.
Yeah.
Like if it wasn't "Don't Fear the Reaper," I feel like I would have been okay.
Yeah.
But like that is the bridge too far.
I-
Absolutely.
It was the mimicking of the actions that would like annoyed me the most, because I'm just like, that's too much, guys. Like, yes, nostalgia plays a part, and well, half of the bums in the seats will be here because they're fans of the original movie, but that was a little bit too much of like the nostalgia bait. I thought. Speaking of nostalgia bait, then, how did we think this one did, Scream 7, in terms of balancing the new and the old for the franchise?
Depends what you call new and old, because it's Scream 5 old now. Because
I would say so. Let's do it in two halves.
Okay.
So 1, 2, 3, and 4,
Mhm.
and then 5, 6, 7.
I feel like Courtney Cox was absolutely wasted in the film. I also think Chad and Mindy were as well, I guess. But
They were shoehorned in, I thought.
totally. But
But
even,
they're different characters
Yes.
than they were in the previous
like-
film. Like you're a comedy double now, and what film are you in? I'm very confused about different people.
They were in a Scary Movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're in Scary Movie / Stab 9.
Yeah.
I've lost track.
but with Courtney Cox, like after the news kind of interview, she just disappears.
Yeah.
And I think that was a red herring that, she might be the killer, and that's why she's not in it as much.
Right.
Okay.
I never.
No, I
really
didn't
thought
cross
so.
my mind at all.
No.
Interesting. What do we think of Courtney Cox's, or Gail Weathers' introduction in this movie?
I think that was my favourite scene.
Yeah.
My whole cinema applauded,
Yeah.
cheered at that scene. It was absolutely brilliant.
I think everybody's been waiting this whole time for just like one of the ghost faces to bite it and fast. So it was
Yes.
like, oh, thank God. That's really like cathartic to
Yeah.
like have that experience. But then like there's more. So,
Yeah.
you know, everything's
Yeah.
all over. It's,
Doesn't last long.
we're 20 minutes in. So, you know it's going to keep going.
But it was a nice twist, kind of like the New York Scream 6, where the killer is unmasked at
Yep.
the start. And I remember seeing Scream 6, and I thought, oh, this is interesting. Maybe we're getting it from the point of view of the
Okay.
killer. And then they didn't do that. So
Yeah.
then when it came into this and literally was knocked down, I thought, okay, this is interesting. Where's it going to go from here? And I knew there was going to be another killer, but I was like, how's it going to tie together? So it had me peaked at that point.
Yeah. Speaking of the Ghostface and the killers in this one, then let's move on to talk about the what probably is the weakest part of the movie for me.
Yeah. Oh, big time.
The reveal of the killers. Now, unless I'm remembering it wrong, there's technically 3. in
Yes.
this.
Yeah.
So we've got the escaped or released mental patient
Mhm.
whose name escapes me.
Barry.
Barry. Well done on
I
that.
think, no, Barry.
Barry.
What,
Go with
was it Carl?
Carol, I think's the one at the
Is
end.
that the
Oh,
other?
Carl,
oh,
Carl's
it's
the
the other
orderly,
guy.
yeah.
It's-
Yeah.
So
no,
we've got the mental patient, we've got the orderly, and we've got the best friend.
Yeah.
Now, the reveal of the first one seemed like it was shoehorned in, like it was maybe going to be part of a different overall story, but then ended up not being. And then I think we talked about this, before we started rolling. as soon as the orderly appeared on screen, I think anyone who's a fan of the franchise immediately was like, "Yeah, that guy's one of the killers." Because casting a guy, and I forget the actor's name, I should have wrote it down.
Ethan Embry.
Ethan Embry, thank you very much. When you cast someone of that, now he's not Tom Cruise, but he's a recognizable face in a relatively like day player role. So as soon as somebody like Ethan Embry's level of status, as it were, appears on screen, you think, oh, why is he just playing the orderly? And then literally like a split second later, as soon as I thought that, I thought, fuck's sake, he's the killer. And likewise with the best friend, I didn't immediately assume she was, but when my partner watched it, she said as soon as the best friend sat down and started talking, she was like, she's the killer.
Yeah.
So I think the reveal of those two was massively kind of underwhelming and disappointing, and then the way, kind of like the throwaway Barry mental patient again just felt useless and unnecessary.
Yeah.
What's does anyone have anything positive to say about the killers?
No.
No.
Does anyone have anything
No.
negative to say? Unload.
Yes. So, you know, the greatest draw of these films now is to the whodunit. And, you know,
Yes.
it's like it's our generation's Agatha Christie or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like
That's getting clipped. That's brilliant.
And I think that, you know, obviously we didn't know that when we watched the first one, but ever since, that's what you're thinking. Who is it? How many are there? What's going on? And the thing that's so disappointing about these choices is that they have no real connection to any previous backstory, no family connection, no relationship. These are just people that have been plucked from the air. And you, like, when you're writing this, surely go back through the family tree, work out who else has had a baby, work out, like, there is like
Yeah.
rich soil to be like growing things from that would have been better than what they chose. I just feel like that was very unimaginative and very
sadly
lazy
is.
more than anything. And I think that's the thing that really let it down over everything, apart from the other controversies. But yeah.
Which is my next question. We'll get to that.
Hmm.
Guys, Layna, Gary, what did we think of the reveal of the killers?
I totally agree with everything you said there. I think they could have just done something just a bit more interesting. And obviously there is the Stu reference through it, and I actually at one point, when they were talking about like the deep fakes and stuff, I was like, okay, this, if it's not Stu, this could be an interesting way to go down. But if you're going to go down the whole deep fake, I want the killers to be like brilliant.
Yeah.
Right. And then when it ended up going to the mental, kind of the mental home, the mental hospital, and then you found the orderly, he was acting a bit shifty.
And it's played by a recognizable face. And you're
Yeah.
just like,
But also I think back in the day, him and, why can't I remember the actor who plays Stu Macker?
Matthew
That's a-
Lillard.
Thank you. It's terrible. They, back in the day, I think were going for the same sort of roles. So that's another kind of meta reason to have him in there. But at one point I was like, imagine like Stu has been in this mental hospital and he's basically brainwashed other patients to go and kill for him. And I thought that would be awesome.
Yes. That's where I thought the story was going.
Yeah, me too.
That's where I thought the story was going, and I was quite disappointed. Like when it didn't go that way.
I think that they had to make some amends around the promotional stuff though, right? So, and I think it was sort of nice that they managed to shoehorn in AI is awful
Yeah.
because of some of the previous controversy. So I think that was kind of like they were trying,
Yeah.
and so that was interesting. And I think, either that when I was thinking about how can they bring Stu back or whatever, like if he is still alive, that's like kind of silly, probably implausible, right? And then the alternative to that, the only one I could think of is it's flashbacks, and it's like, oh, that's kind of done.
Yeah.
So like, and the AI kind of like deepfake whatever is very like modern and like clever in terms of the way that I think it's a sneaky kind of cute trick to have like have anybody that they want to come back into it, which was nice. I thought.
But it's kind of doing, the AI deepfake is doing what the rest of the Screams have, and it's like going with the time. So
Yeah.
like Scream 1, like meta about slashers. Scream 2 is just basically a sequel, bigger and bloodier. Scream 3, you've got the whole detective thing. Also, you've got the whole kind of Me Too Hollywood thing in there as well. So maybe ahead of the game there. Scream 4, you've got the social media. Scream 5, or just Scream, is doing the whole Rico idea and
Yeah.
taking the piss a bit there. And then we're getting to now, and it's kind of like, okay, deepfakes, AI
Yeah.
is almost the killer in a way.
Yes.
AI is the killer, I
Yeah.
guess, which
Yeah.
is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When the whole AI storyline was becoming evident throughout the movie, I was really enjoying that aspect
Yeah.
of it, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, this is like you said, this is clever. I like where this is going. However, I do think they went a bit too far with taking the piss out of the audience or making fun of the audience for thinking Stu might still be alive, because you said it was, Emily, you said it was implausible. I agree, but not impossible. I've like as soon as Stu was announced, I thought, ooh, that's interesting. How could he survive in anything? Okay, so a TV fell on his head. Would that kill you? Probably. But other than like the kind of the physicality of a TV landed on your head in an old school, like,
Yeah.
CRTV TV, which I remember, they were heavy. But I thought, it's been 30 years. He could have served his time and is now
Yeah.
been released. I thought that's where they were going to go with it. I'm okay that they didn't do that, and I'm okay that it was AI and deepfakes and whatnot, but just when they literally had that line saying, don't be ridiculous, Stu's dead. And
Yeah.
couldn't have survived. I think it was in the opening scene, wasn't it? I thought that's kind of, I think that's making fun of a large section of your core audience. I thought, like, maybe one of them, because I was like, that's a step too far. I think you're taking the piss out of your audience a wee bit there.
And the whole reason this came about is he is in like the back of Scream 2 in one shot, which is
Yeah.
just,
The
was
comic scene,
was a joke. But then the audience kind of took off saying that Stu is the only killer that's not been shot in the head.
Okay.
And
I
that
never even picked up on that.
that is why they're like, only person, because obviously you need to shoot him in the head. You need to shoot him in the head. And
Why did I know that?
he's never
That's good.
So that's
Yeah.
kind of why people like bring back Stu.
Yeah.
We don't care if it's unrealistic, but he's
Yeah.
gotten shot. So that's your reason,
Yeah.
basically.
And,
If we go meta.
the other way I thought they might have brought him back was, well, if we've had Ghost Billy or
Yeah.
Hallucination Billy, we might have, I thought, like, Hallucination Stu, and maybe he had a child as well, but I think that's them literally just rehashing the plot. And
Yeah.
when it was first announced, other than him being genuinely alive and, spent 30 years in jail, my second thought was, well, it'll be flashbacks or a ghost. I never thought for a second about AI until the movie started, and then once that storyline was developing throughout the movie, I was like, oh yeah, that makes perfect sense. What did we think about the other returning characters appearing in AI form?
Yeah, I quite liked it actually. I thought it was like a nod
Yeah.
to the fans to bring them back. Yeah. Yeah, I have no issues with that. I did enjoy that part of the killer reveal.
Did we miss anyone from the AI montage? I'm trying to remember.
I mean, they killed a bunch of people over the years that
Yeah.
I wish they hadn't. And they weren't in it. Like I think, like I'm thinking about like all of the blonde women that have been murdered throughout the course of the Scream films. I'm like, yeah, I love Rose McGowan. I love Sarah Michelle Gellar. Even like McKenna Grace, like, just like, she clearly is going to have a fantastic career. I'm really
Yeah.
excited to see what happens for her next. And just like, and Samara Weaving as well, as like they always kill off one of the really like decent
Yeah.
blondes. So I'm like, and they didn't bring any of those guys back, but they weren't core. So
True,
you know,
true.
I would have liked to have seen Timothy from
Yes.
the second one, and also I thought they missed a beat to not have Drew Barrymore
Yeah.
Mm.
on the TV. I know it wouldn't maybe make sense,
Yeah.
but I just think that'd have been just a really nice
Yeah.
nod.
Because they only did it. They only showed some of the previous killers in that
Yeah.
montage. Yeah.
3, 4 of them.
So
But then they showed other people as well. That were like Dewey was like,
Drew, yeah.
Oh, sorry,
Oh,
sorry.
yeah,
That's
that's
to just kill it.
totally. Yeah, you're
Like, it
right.
was just
I totally
cast.
forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I did
So
forget
it could
about
have been.
So you could have any dead character,
Okay.
good or like killer or not, could have been in that montage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing that was like silly for me in terms of that was that they used the people as they are now, but realistically a deep fake would be like what they looked like at that
Yeah.
time. And it's like Roman especially, it's like, you know, time has passed, babe. Like I can tell he's still cute. Don't get me wrong.
He does
but,
not.
like,
Look, he doesn't
aging
look
was
30
bad.
years older than you know.
Yeah.
I would have loved for Roman to be back as the killer because his backstory being like Sydney's brother is totally bonkers already.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That she could have just had twins, and it's Roman's brother.
An eviler twin with
Yeah.
an evil goatee.
It would have been better than the killers we got.
Yeah, you know what? I
Yeah.
would have taken that.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room. There were 2 characters that didn't return. Without getting into the overall politics of it all, from a purely story point of view, did we miss those characters? Obviously, we're talking about the sisters, Melissa and Jenna's characters. What's your thoughts on that? Story-wise, did we miss those characters?
No, I
No.
didn't.
No.
No.
I did. I
Really?
would say, yeah, I would say I did. I thought it was kind of great to do this kind of Scream trilogy of Scream 5, 6, and 7 because I think I can't remember the older sister's name. That's how much I
I
liked
can't
her
actually
back.
remember. I'm
Can't
calling them
remember.
Melissa and Jenna's characters because I can't remember the names.
Samantha?
Samantha, yeah. I thought it was interesting with the whole Billy Loomis and her slowly becoming a serial killer.
Yeah.
And I think that'd have been really cool because then we could have done the point of view of a serial killer because we've known them, then they become
Yeah.
Ghostface. So I think that could have been relatively interesting. Jenna Ortega's character was just kind of there. I
Yeah.
guess I didn't really care too much, but I thought they were doing something again different with Samantha, and I would have liked to have seen that go a little bit further.
Yeah. Let's rewind it back a little bit then. Did we miss Neve Campbell not being in Scream 6?
Yes.
Oh, see, I didn't.
No, I didn't.
I thought
honestly,
Scream 6
either.
worked great. And
Yeah.
I was like, do you know what? At first, when it was first announced, I was like,
Yeah, I was gutted.
this is a risky move, guys. But then when I watched the movie, I was like, do you know what? This works without Neve.
Yeah.
But Emily, you almost look offended by this.
No, I think it's just like I have like a great love for her, and it was more just like I don't think the film didn't work. I think that they were fine, like
Yeah.
not an issue, but just like I just like her. I wanted to see her.
Are we talking you liked the character of Sydney and you missed the
Yeah.
character, or you liked the Neve Campbell and didn't like what was happening behind the scenes with Neve for Scream 6?
I think that there was some nice little references, little jokes in this in 7 about like I am not past it actually, and I think that there is points to be made about like aging actresses and at the point at which you become unfuckable or whatever, and the studio decides you're not going to be hired anymore, and I think we know now. Like it's bullshit, and she can absolutely still sell tickets. And there's
Yeah.
no like she's got a couple of fine lines, but she's otherwise still a tough girl
Yeah.
Yeah.
and very entertaining to watch. Even though in this version she's not been given a lot to work with,
Yeah.
I was still like delighted to see her, and
Yeah.
and it was
Yeah.
still really enjoyable. So
I was hurt with a line in Scream 7 about Scream 6 because I kind of like Scream 6.
I like Scream 6.
And it's when Courtney Cox says to Neve Campbell, well done on skipping the last one. It was
Yes.
brutal. And I was like, that's such a dick.
It is like, now, it works 2 ways. Like, that was brutal in that, people were brutally murdered.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But I think, like, the in-joke there is, like,
Yeah.
it was, like, they're saying they didn't like that movie. And I was almost offended by that as well because I think Scream 6 is definitely in the upper half of the franchise ranking.
Yeah, for me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought they were referring to the pay negotiations when they were saying it was brutal, as opposed to like the film itself.
Okay.
Like,
I think there's a lot of
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's like three Inception layers of subtitles going on with that line.
and for a meta film, it's doing its job then.
Yes.
Definitely is. It definitely is. Emily, you mentioned there about the returns in the box office for the franchise. I haven't triple checked, but the last I heard, it's got the best opening of any movie
Yeah, I
in
believe
the
so,
franchise. So there's definitely an appetite for Scream movies. It does prove, as you were saying, Emily, that Neve Campbell definitely is a draw. Where do we think the franchise will go after this? Because it's made money. Paramount will probably want to make another Scream movie, and they won't care who's in it.
I think
They
it's
want
already
to
been
make it.
greenlit.
yeah.
Is it?
I
Is
think
it?
so.
Oh, I missed that. I should probably check that before we started. Where do we want the franchise to go?
I've got my story already
Ooh, okay.
pitched out. So Stu is back, but living a quiet life, and they do decide to dig up the cemetery body,
Mhm.
and he's not there. So then Sydney and Gail go looking for him, which brings him back because he just wants to go and live a quiet life. But now they've messed up his quiet life, so he starts picking off Sydney's friends.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So actually,
So
he went.
initially he wasn't a killer. Well, a killer again.
Yeah.
Right.
So I would just like he's just chilling. He's in hiding after everything that he did back in the 90s.
Is he like at a cabin in the woods somewhere?
Yeah, he could do that. And then because they come looking for him, he's like, and then
So-
they have to come back and then start stopping them.
In your Scream 8, is Stu the protagonist?
No, I wouldn't say he has to be.
I'm not going to lie.
I think that
As I say that out loud, I'm like, I would watch that.
Yeah.
I think that there is like a connection there in terms of like that one of the things that I really loved in Seven was them trying to lure the killer to call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the interview scene and stuff like that, that was actually, I kind of thought, actually, this is quite smart and this is nice. And this is sort of getting back to kind of where we want this to be going. And I think that there is like, is there a point where Sidney Evans becomes like a vigilante or like some kind of like moves into a darker territory?
Right.
And I think that would be so much more interesting for me. Like at the beginning of it, I was like, I really hope Tatum is the killer. You know, like I want it to be.
Oh, really? You thought you were hoping her daughter was the killer?
Yeah, I want it to be
Ooh,
like
okay.
much more messed up.
That would,
Yeah.
that would, I mean, cycle on like that would just, to
Yeah.
the character of Sydney, that would
And
be
like
brutal.
and that would absolutely destroy her. Which is, you know,
the
I
glee
love
on your
her.
face at that thought.
I love her, but also yeah, you know.
I love her, but I want to torture her by having her daughter become a serial killer.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to do that, and then I was like, is that too close to Emma Roberts' character in Scream
Yeah.
4?
Yeah.
True, because she was her niece.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at that point, I was like, I hope they just kill off the daughter, because that would be traumatic as well.
Oh, yeah.
Where
I
she
thought
survived.
they were going to do that. Like I thought the opening in the trailer I thought was a fake out, and then I thought the actual cold open would be the daughter being killed, because she's not. When you watch the trailer, she's not in that many scenes, and I thought everything, all of her scenes and all of her shots in the trailer could be from the opening 10 minutes,
Mhm.
and then she's killed. But yeah, they didn't do that.
Did anyone miss Kirby?
I forgot about that.
I forgot.
I do love Kirby.
I
and
like
was glad
I
she
like
came
the
back.
character,
Yeah.
but I didn't miss her.
No,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
I feel like she came back in 6, and
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that. And then I was sort of happy with that.
Yeah, yeah.
I just thought she'd have been still on like the ghost faced investigation. So when shit hit the fan again, she
Yeah.
might
Oh,
have
yeah, that's true.
rocked up.
Yeah.
Possibly, yeah. But I think her character and Gail's character would have been
Kind of
on,
button heads.
like I would imagine that it's the same. They would have the same role.
Yeah.
And so I think from a writer's point of view, it makes sense to just have one or the other. But then again, they were both in 6 and both had
Because Sydney wasn't.
because
Yeah, yeah,
that's true.
yeah.
That's true. That's a very good point. That's a very good point. Future of the franchise, Layna. Where do you want to go?
I don't know what I'd like to see story-wise, but I would like more of Sydney, Gail, and Tatum together, not going off and we're having like one-on-ones. Like I want a badass trio or badass double act
Right.
with the girls.
What are they doing?
Anything. Give me anything. I just want more screen time with Gail. Gail is probably my favorite character.
Oh,
I just want more of her being like the way she was in the originals and just being such a badass bitch.
right. Emily, did we already come to you about the future?
I mean, kind of like I just wanted to get darker and
Dark,
you know,
yeah.
like
You
that,
really
you know,
want to
in general.
capture, yeah.
I can't remember as well. Did Parker Posey's character die in 3? Because I feel like
Yeah.
did she shoot? I can't remember. Because if not, can she come back? I would like her to come back.
Well, I don't think she was shot in the head. And
Well, then
as
she can.
as we have
That's
established,
real,
as Gary said, unless you're shot in the head,
Hmm.
you can come back.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's movies. So even if you are shot in the head, they could do that whole thing that they have in Kick-Ass where they put that thing around the guy's skull and, you know, they survive. I don't know if anyone's seen Kick-Ass, you know. I never thought I'd be referencing Kick-Ass in a Scream 7 spoiler special, but there you go. Okay, guys, I'm gonna jump into my phone and get the questions that people sent in through Instagram. So anything that we haven't talked about that anyone wanted to talk about, you guys bring that up. You've got your iPad there. So Layna, you take us away while I have a look at the questions people sent in.
I just have a little note that I tend to like the new characters that are added in, and I liked them in the last few movies, but I really could not give a shit about any of the new characters. I feel like they were so poorly written that I really was just sort of rooting for Ghostface to kill them.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same. The whole pizza joint
Yeah.
restaurant area.
The Dawson's Creek scene.
Yeah, it was. They tried to make it a bit like the Velociraptors in Jurassic Park and the kitchen as
yeah.
well. But then I just didn't really care, and it went on for ages.
Yes.
Like
Such a
such
long scene.
And then with even Mindy and Chad and that, they get like a little slice in the arm or something, and then they're just not in the rest of the film
Yeah.
either. I was just like, what's this? Is a weird scene. But
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
weird to bring them back to not utilize them like at all. Just
Yeah.
sort of sit them with these characters that we don't care about.
yeah, I agree with that.
Anything else on your notes there? You know?
No, I think we've covered everything else.
Right.
I
mean,
I have
Go for it, go
one
for it, take us away.
point that it's actually the most important point out of everything that I have said this evening. It is I'm really disappointed with the heavy-handed overuse of the word fuck throughout Scream 7. I feel like it they were playing it for laughs. Like everybody was like at different points like, oh fuck, and it was just like, this joke is not landing, and you have pushed it too hard, and I feel like I'm a little bit cringy. Like I obviously have no issue with swearing whatsoever. That's not the issue. It's just like it's got to have some like spontaneity to it. It's like you could see it coming, and it was like
Right.
you've lent on this really hard, and I feel like in terms of like script development, please go back and work on that. And Kevin Williamson, can you not direct the film? He can go back to writing with other people and get somebody else to direct
Yeah.
the next one.
Yeah.
Like,
I would agree with that.
just
Yeah.
there was some great stuff in it, but
Yeah.
definitely it is yeah.
That's interesting about the swearing. I don't know if this is a comment on my upbringing, but I didn't even notice.
No, because I didn't notice that either.
I was just like, because it was being played for laughs and it just wasn't landing. I was like, every time it happened, I was like, oh god,
Oh.
again, just like, yeah, it just felt lazy from a comedic perspective, and it
Fair enough.
bothered me.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So more of an issue with the writing than the dialogue specifically.
Yeah, but I think it didn't, like, the actors couldn't make it land because
Right.
it was like, I don't know, yeah, and there was certain points in it where it happened like repeatedly, scene after scene, and I was like, oh, what's going on? It was weird.
See,
Yeah.
with things not landing, one thing that didn't really land for me was the idea of the nostalgic leather jacket from Scream 2. And it was just like,
Yeah.
this is just a bit random.
Yeah, I think that would have worked better if she just had it on and it was like a wee Easter egg for fans.
Yeah.
You didn't need to mention it. It didn't need to be like a dramatic thing for Sydney.
I think that there are other items that would have worked better,
Yeah,
like the
like a bloody knife.
necklace that she has in Scream
Yeah,
2 that's like the letters from the boyfriend. That
Absolutely.
like that would
Yeah.
have been so much more poignant than the leather jacket.
Yeah.
Gosh.
I mean, how many times has Cindy been attacked now? Why is the leather jacket important? Like,
Stylish as it is.
Yeah.
Okay, so a few people have messaged in with some questions for us. So we'll start off with Small Movie World asked, how would you freshen up the Scream franchise if given the task? I think we've kind of already covered that, my friend. So unless anyone else has got anything else to say on how to freshen it up.
I want to get Ari Aster to direct the next one. That's
Ooh.
what I want.
Yep.
Right, make it
Kevin
weirder.
Williamson written,
Yeah. Well,
writing.
with somebody else. He's
With
not
someone.
allowed to do it on his own.
Right, okay.
It's too Dawson's Creek otherwise.
Who are you pairing up Kevin Williamson with as a writer then? So we've got Ari Aster directing, we've got Kevin Williamson and
Come back to me. I
Come
have
back
to
to
ever
you.
think about it.
Jordan
Jordan
Peele.
I would say
Um,
one way you could freshen it up is keep doing your Scream 8. Yeah, Scream 8. But you could almost do a spin-off. And I'm not a big fan of spin-offs, but just call it like Ghostface or something. And it's like brand new characters, completely new town, and just someone's donning the iconic mask to do their own reason
Yeah.
for killing. Nothing ties in. But you let the fans know that kind of from the get go. I guess the TV show.
Yeah,
kind of
I was
did
gonna say, they did that with the TV show.
Oh,
but
right. Did anyone here watch the TV
Yeah, I
show?
loved it.
yeah,
Right. I didn't watch it, but I'm assuming that's kind of what they did in the TV show.
they did, but it was a bit more Dawson's Creek OC vibes for like it'd be like it would be like 45 minutes an episode and 10 minutes of killing really in the runtime. The rest would be just relationships.
Yeah, I don't need to. I'm not in a hurry to
It was
watch
good though. It was
Yeah, I
good.
did.
Darren in Dynamic Frame says, honestly, the killer should have been Stu. Was that the most anticlimactic reveal in Scream history? I think we all agree, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
definitely for me.
Yeah, definitely.
Also,
Anticlimactic.
Scream 6. I was quite disappointed already with the reveal of the killers in that one. That's just
Right.
my
Yeah.
own preference. So then when it happened again,
Yeah.
and it was even worse, I was like, oh,
Yeah. Yeah, Scream 7, I think I talked about this before we started rolling. The first 2/3 of that, I was like, shit, this might be the best one since the first one. And then the final third. Well, nope, it's definitely not.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so we have, I need to get reading glasses, evidently. Oscar's reviews with 4 S's at the end. Should Stu have just been alive and he be the final reveal? So we kind of touched on that, but let's just hammer that point home. Should Stu have been real and not AI?
I would have liked to have seen him.
Yeah.
I did like the AI aspect of it, but yeah, even just revealing him at the end as a final killer, I think would
Yeah.
have changed my mind.
Like a wee I waited for a post-credit scene
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, just give us something.
with Stu, the cabin in the woods, just like, trying to live a quiet life now that he's been released, but we never got that.
yeah.
Emma, as Oscar's, as he said, should Stu have been alive?
I think that it is very difficult to have found a way to do it that would have been plausible is the only thing. And I
Yeah.
think you would really have to hardcore suspend disbelief. So I liked the AI thing. I thought that was clever,
Yeah.
right?
I think I don't have an issue with it. Yeah, I think
mean,
it was.
I love Stu though. I miss Stu, and I would like to see him in films again. So it's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it'd be hard to make it work, but I'm gonna turn up if he's in it.
Yeah.
Yes.
But as Gary's really wasn't showing the head.
It's true.
I would say the AI thing worked really well, but you needed better killers at the end.
Yeah.
And the other thing on that is one thing I didn't like, but kind of do, is I didn't like how Stu acted in the AI. It was still like teenage Stu from Scream,
That's a good point.
and that makes sense because that's all the AI deepfakes have got to play
Mhm.
with
Yeah.
is teenage Stu, right? So it'd be really interesting then if he was alive at the end, but acting like an actual adult.
Yeah.
He had all the scars on his face as well, which I didn't understand.
I think from the
from the
television
TV.
Yeah,
accident.
but
So,
then
you mean like why would the eye
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
But they can create that on, like, they could just
that'd
say,
be added on.
generate
Scars.
Stu Macker with scars on his face as if a 28-inch CRT TV had fallen on his head. Yeah,
Fair.
that's
I
fair.
think
That's
there's
fair.
definitely some continuity issues in
Yeah.
terms of the way that they had decided to deal with the
Yeah.
AI, for
Yeah.
sure. But
True.
yeah.
Right, so we've got LJ Films one says, "What's the worst killer reveal of the franchise?"
This one.
This one,
This one, yeah, yeah. I think unequivocally, like by a country mile,
Yeah.
this one. Gary, you look pondering.
I'm
do you?
know.
I'm just double checking. I also think the Scream 5, not Richie, not
Richie.
Richie, the woman. I can't
Yeah.
remember the name now.
Oh,
Amber.
was that
Amber.
Ricky
Amber.
Madsen,
Yeah.
right? Who refused to come back for 7?
Oh,
Did you
did-
guys see
Oh,
that?
I did see that. Yeah,
Yeah.
she put a not so subtle post on about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like,
okay.
are you too good for Scream? Now that you got it nominated for anything?
Yeah. But I thought, like, her reasoning behind it. So I didn't mind that she was the killer, but I just thought her reasoning behind it was a bit.
Yeah, I wasn't
Bit
sold
weak.
on them in
Yeah.
5 either.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say 5 is the second worst killer reveal, but I would put 7 as the
Oh,
worst
yeah.
killer reveal.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then just one last one from Ashvin says hi. That's the way it's written. I've not just became flamboyant. Do you think Scream would suit from experimenting with other subgenres like found footage? Which is a good question. We kind of got a taste of that in Scream 4.
Yeah, I was gonna say yeah.
But would we want a full Blair Witch style found footage Ghostface movie?
I don't think so. I think parts. I think if parts of
Yeah.
it were filmed and there was tapes or something, I would enjoy that. But I don't think I'd like a full on found
Yeah.
footage.
Yeah, fair enough. That's the end of the the listener questions, or, you know, the Instagram questions, guys. Thanks very much for sending them in. That was good to chat through. Before we wrap it up, guys, is there anything that we've not touched on that you want to get off your chest with Scream 7 or the franchise in general?
I think we should, before we go, rank the order that we.
Ooh, okay, okay. I think you should go first then.
Oh.
And I'll go last because well.
um,
So from best to worst.
best Scream.
Hang on, let's tee this up properly. So Scream franchise ranking, best to worst. Gary from the Horror Cut Show, go.
Okay, Scream 1 is best. I would say 2, then possibly 3. Then I would go Scream 5, 6, 4, 7.
Okay. Emily.
1, 3.
Ooh,
I love 3.
interesting.
It's silly, but it works.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually one of the things that I kind of liked about 7 as well, is that it's a bit silly. That's
Yeah.
okay.
Mhm.
As long as you commit to the silly, you know. And then so 1, 3, 2, and then the 5 and 6, and then I didn't really like 4 that much. I would say 7 before 4.
So you're in 4 at the end. 4
Mm.
is the worst of the franchise.
Yeah, I didn't really. I only watched it a couple of years ago when I was doing a full rewatch before starting like watching the next one or whatever, and so it's the one that I've seen the least out of all of them,
Right.
and I didn't connect with it as much.
There's one scene in 4 that I was like, no. And it's when the cop gets stabbed in the head and still walks down the street.
Yeah.
And then before he dies, he has a line.
Yeah.
I think it's like,
Fuck Bruce Willis.
yeah,
That's from a different. That's from a scary movie.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And I was like, and it's Wes Craven.
Yeah.
And that's what made me so disappointed. So, yeah.
Yeah. He didn't quite go out on a high, sadly. Layna,
Oh.
franchise ranking.
I did this the other day, so let's see if I can remember. So I have 1, and then controversially I have 4. And then I go to, I think I went 6, 3, 5, 7. I think on my
Ooh, so
ranking.
you're putting 7 at the end as the worst.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. So I've unfairly had time to think about it as you're doing yours, but I wrote mine down because I was like, what is mine? So I mean, everyone's going to put 1 as the first one. I'd be shocked if anyone is saying that 1 isn't the best, other than just like, you know, clickbait YouTube thumbnail stuff. So 1, 2, 6. I really like 6. The New York setting I think is brilliant. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 6, 3. That's my definite top 4. The
Mhm.
bottom 3, I kind of like, you know, I would put the bottom 3 on a par. I would put 4, 5, and 7 equally as bad as each other, for lack of a better phrase. But if I had to choose, I would go 4, 7, 5. So I think 5 is my least favorite. So
Really?
1, 2, 6, 3, 4, 7, 5. 5 is my least favorite of the franchise. That really just disappointed me when it came out, because loved the first 3, like grew up with the first 3. Then you had a 10-year gap,
Mhm.
and then Scream 4 came out. Wasn't a huge fan of it, but didn't hate it. And then you've got another 10 or 15-year gap,
Mhm.
and then Scream 5 / Scream 2020, which part of the reason why I hate it is the naming thing they did with that, which is just stupid. Yeah, just didn't like 5 at all. Something about it, just I remember watching it and just being, oh man, I'm really disappointed in this movie. And then, like I said, with Scream 7, it's 2/3 great and then 1/3 terrible.
Yeah.
Like, so that kind of like that last third really drops it in the rankings for me. Yeah, but yeah, so there we go. So there's everyone's
In the old Scream 6, he uses a shotgun, which I found quite cool.
yes.
Yeah, I
Like-
did like the whole bodega scene.
Yeah,
Mm.
that was good. I think the New York setting, I think the scene on the subway. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've got a lot of love for Scream 6. I almost put it as my number 2, but Scream 2 was my number 2. But yeah, so there we go. There's everyone's Scream rankings. Anything else before we wrap it up, guys, about the Scream franchise? No?
No, I don't think so.
Would you go see the next one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think everyone at this
Yeah.
table would go
Yeah.
and see it, even if it's like, none of the original cast. If it's like, looks cheap, I don't think anyone would not go and see it. You might think this is going to be terrible, and it might end up being terrible, but I think everyone's going to go and see it. I mean, everyone's a fan of the franchise. In fact, am I not somebody, you have Scream tattoos, do you?
Yes.
Yeah. There you go. So you've got a ghost face. So you're
Yeah.
you're in the
They
back.
can make 100 and they
Yeah,
can't be
I was
shown,
gonna say,
but
you're
I'll
in the
be
back.
there.
Yeah.
I think that I feel like there's been a lot of like backlash in regards to Seven, even though it's done so well, right? Everybody online is very, very interested in hating on it. And I think that's a little unfair. And
Yeah.
I feel like, if somebody is listening to this and hasn't seen it yet but wanted the spoilers so that they didn't feel scared or whatever, it's fun.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
it sort of like envelops you in like a warm hug. If you
Yeah.
if like Scream is your comfort movie, then like there's so much of it that it's like this is for you,
Yes.
like, and that's nice. So it's not there are no bad Scream movies is the bottom line.
Yeah,
basically.
I would say that's fair. There's no bad Scream movies. There's great Scream movies, there's mediocre Scream movies, and there's less than great Scream
Yeah.
movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent. Okay, so on that note, guys, we'll wrap it up there. Thank you very much for joining us. I'll put everyone's details in the description below. We've got Layna Frankenstein, we've got Emilylicksthebowl and Gary from the Horror Cut Show. Thank you very much for joining us for the first in-studio spoiler special. Thanks, guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.